What a difference a day makes in football. That might not have been the most scintillating World Cup semi-final we'll ever see, but here are 5 things that we learned. Do not underestimate the Argentine manager. This was a semi-final where no one player really stood out, and with the headline acts failing to deliver, perhaps the person to come out of the game with the most plaudits is manager Alejandro Sabella. He's been under fire all tournament long. Undermined by criticism, reports that Messi rules the roost and that he doesn't know how to get the best out of a pretty talented bunch. Whilst they were hardly fizzing their way to the final last night, Sabella steered his team to a ruthlessly efficient smothering of what had been one of the most dangerous attacking sides in the tournament. But will they be too exhausted against a German side that effectively played 45 minutes of their semi-final, a full day earlier, compared to the 120 minutes plus the emotional overload of a penalty shootout? Has Van Gaal's golden touch been tarnished? So why did he blow his subs? Bruno Martins' Indy came off at half-time, which wasn't injury provoked, though he was on a booking. Then Van Gaal gambled to win it before penalties by throwing on Huntelaar. The Dutch manager has said if he'd had a 4th sub, he would have changed the keeper, which kind of makes sense, seeing as Cillessen hadn't saved a single penalty in 16 taken against him. Back to the same old Dutch. Losing 7-1 is the same as losing on penalties, said Van Gaal, not altogether convincingly. But scratch beneath the surface and you begin to understand a little bit more about his frustration at the manner of his team's exit, which seemed to resonate above and beyond the typical anguish when you lose a penalty shootout. Consider the startling suggestion by Van Gaal post-match that 2 Dutch players were asked and refused to take the first penalty, leaving poor Ron Vlaar, hardly the definition of a clinical finisher, to step up. We all know how that turned out. The Dutch's record now drifts to 2 wins and 5 losses in major championship penalty shootouts. That is almost England bad. Messi versus Robben was a showdown that many were anticipating, but as is often the way in games like this, the big acts failed to deliver, leading to the first ever World Cup semi-final ending 0-0. Messi didn't even touch the ball in the Dutch penalty area for the entire 120 minutes and only managed 1 shot the whole game, whilst Robben completed 171 passes during the tournament, yet last night he attempted just 1 pass in the first half and he managed only 2 attempts with 1 on target. Concussion. We were reminded last night that seemingly no one in football knows anything whatsoever about the dangers of concussion. No doubt about it. Javier Mascherano put himself at risk by playing on after his collision with Jorginho Wijnaldum. The depth of knowledge now available about the serious long-term impact that concussions can have is being used effectively in plenty of other sports, most notably the NFL, where the moment a concussion is suspected, a player is removed from the game. So why, in football, do players seem to have power over the medical staff and the officials to overrule their own fate? Well, we have ourselves a final. Just what about Argentina? After that, are they going to be too tired to present a serious threat to Germany in the final? What about Holland? Did we overrate them after that 5-1 win against Spain? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you haven't already, don't forget you can subscribe to our channel right about here. Why? Well, there's lots more good stuff coming before the end of this tournament. See you soon.